Hi, my name is Mercedes, and the documentary that we watched on medical tourism was really informational to me. I'd had the idea before that medical tourism was mostly for cosmetic surgeries and that sort of thing, although I do know someone who went to have a necessary surgery on her stomach that really improved her quality of life and was not just like cosmetic or anything like that. Um, but it was interesting to me that sometimes medical tourism is for quality, meaning that you could get the same surgery where you're at, but if you travel somewhere else, you'll get better quality of healthcare. And so that means that people who can't afford medical tourism are getting lesser quality treatment than, in their original place. So I thought that was really interesting. When the lady talked about the people that went to Mexico for a tummy tuck and ended up getting kidnapped, that was definitely one of the first things that I thought about when we started talking about medical tourism. That's a real risk, and people are still taking it because the cheaper healthcare is that attractive in Mexico. But it's definitely a thought. Um, just when you're going to a country, you don't know what's going to happen really. And especially going to a country where you don't know the language, that just seems extra scary to me. Um, The documentary said that cosmetic surgeries only make up 13% of the surgeries, and really what most people are traveling for is dental, which takes up 50% of medical tourism, which I thought was really interesting. And I wonder where those people are coming and going from and to for that dental care. Um, that was really cool how the Texas Medical Center, everything that they're doing to coordinate the trip for people. So they're helping to get everything figured out for them, housing, transportation, meals, all of that stuff. That is one thing that my friend who went to Mexico, what she said is that she went there, she paid one price, and they had a place for her to stay to recover. They took care of food, they took care of all the transportation, like they did everything, which even if she wanted to have the surgery in the United States, she's going to have to travel, I believe, out of state for it anyway. And then she would be responsible for getting all that stuff figured out. I did a little bit of research into medical tourism in Thailand. I found out that heart surgeries, such as coronary artery bypass grafting and heart valve replacements, and then some other minimally invasive cardiac surgery techniques, are done as one of the top medical tourism uh, as part of the top draw for medical tourism to Thailand. These procedures range from $15,000 to $35,000 compared to $70,000 to $200,000 in Western nations, according to MedPark Hospital online. Their second biggest draw for medical tourism is orthopedic and joint replacement surgeries, including hip and knee replacements, and these cost 50 to 70% less there than in Western countries, again, according to MedPark Hospital. What I thought was really interesting about that is I've seen hip and knee replacements, and what I thought was really interesting about that is that I've seen hip and knee replacement recovery in the rehab facility that I work in, and it can be a few weeks or it can be a few months. So it's interesting to me the idea that they could go and it still be 50 to 70% less, but maybe they're having to be in a foreign country long enough to recover from such a surgery. Thailand offers advanced medical technology, skilled board certified surgeons, and high standards of care, on par with those in Western on par with those like that would be familiar with here in the United States, all at significantly lower cost, which makes it highly attractive for international patients, according to medparkhospital.com. I was unable to find anything about the mortality rate of medical tourism procedures in Thailand, but there are some risks associated with traveling to Thailand just in general, like mosquito-borne illnesses, unsafe food or water, natural disasters, and according to the U.S. Department of State's website, they're actually warning about violence in some areas and how unsafe that can be and how you need to really be aware of that when you go to Thailand. I did find an article by Jennifer Boyd posted on JMA Network where they said that medical tourism procedures by reputable high volume centers have a similar mortality rate to other cardiac centers. That's not just in Thailand, that's all over, ones that are well known for medical tourism seem to be on par with other centers, cardiac centers. The assignment talks about summarizing a personal experience, and I have mentioned my friend who had the procedure in Mexico. Um, Also, in this area, many of us have to participate in medical tourism out of necessity. I'm sure probably everybody knows someone who's had to travel to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, because it's the closest facility with certain specialty doctors or doctors that deal with rare cases or just very serious cases. I also know a few families who have had to have extensive physical rehabilitation that go to a facility in Nebraska. Um, and I think that it's great that we have options that we can drive to, but it is interesting. Like in Rochester, they had hotels and everything lined up for us. And anytime that we went, it was just for a couple of days, a quick appointment. We didn't have to stay there for very long. But the people I know who have had to go to Nebraska, the people I know that have had to go to Nebraska, they're down there for extended periods of time, maybe months at a time. And so they're having to take care of everything here in Mitchell as well as being there in Nebraska for the family member that's there. It would be great if we could have a closer facility so that it was easier for them to manage both. But I am thankful that we have a facility that we can go to and we're not having to leave our country or travel crazy distances for. Thank you for listening.